He has worked for Press Now and set up independent radio for the UN in South Sudan. Leon serves as a board member of Ghetto Radio, a Nairobi-based radio station for slum residents. Welcome. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. The Acting Vice-Chancellor and Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Academic and Student Affairs, Dr. Sizwe Bizela, thank you for your heartening words. Professor Herman Wasserman, Deputy Head of the School of Journalism and Media Studies and Chairperson of the Highway Africa Steering Committee. Members of the Steering Committee of the Global Forum for Media Development, Mrs. Bettina Peters, Executive Director of GFMD, sponsors and donor representatives here, the leadership and membership of the African Editors Forum, the South Africa Editors Forum, and South African National Editors Forum, members of the Diplomatic Corps, speakers and chairs in the program, delegates to the Highway Africa and Global Forum for Media Development Conference. A very warm welcome to Grahamstown. My name is Leon Willems. I'm standing in for Joyce Barnathan, the president of GFMD, who could not make it to Grahamstown due to acute family circumstances. But on behalf of Joyce, I would like to say a warm hello to all of you. It's an honor for me to welcome you to the third edition of the Global Forum for Media Development. This edition is co-hosted by Highway Africa, and we owe the people of Rhodes University and Highway Africa huge compliments for hosting our conference and welcoming us here. Chris Cabuato and his team, we thank you very much for putting this conference together. At GFMD, the world's media development sector comes together to share experiences and coordinate activities. With so many of our colleagues here today and in this event, I'm really grateful for this opportunity to share some thoughts on media development with you. We're all strongly committed to the development of independent media, and of course we're proud of our work, because media development is one of the most rewarding forms of development aid. 4 years ago in Athens, we assembled, and since then the boat was rocked in a major way. For example, since that time, I need reading glasses to do a speech. But also, the financial crisis has rocked the Western world, and we see a very interesting aspect of Africa rising, is that negative trends in the West no longer automatically are followed by negative trends in the South and the East, which is a good thing. We also had technological developments turning our sector upside down. Paradigms are shifting. 4 years ago, we stood on the brink of a cascade of new opportunities due to the digital age, and we had a lot of new opportunities and challenges, which I think it is only right that we have this conference together with Highway Africa and combine the discussion about a lot of opportunities, but also a lot of challenges that are combined in the proliferation of digital access and the lack thereof in some parts, and the consequences it has for how people behave and could be controlled. But let's cherish our accomplishments. By promoting independent media in some of the world's most troubled regions, we enable people to raise issues and confront abuses of power themselves, issues that have an impact on their lives, matters that only they can address, provided they have the right information. We firmly believe that everyone has a right to impartial, objective, and reliable information. Press freedom and freedom of speech are fundamental human rights. And I'm sure most of us recognize the feeling that our job, journalism, is not merely a job, but a calling. That is the community we are. We are a community of values. Right. Since we all probably agree on this, certainly hope so, I might as well stop preaching to the choir. However, I do believe it may contribute to the success of this conference if we take a moment to consider what drives us. Why have we actually assembled here today? Who will actually be benefiting from this conference? Let's reflect on the incredible commitment of the many people we support throughout the world. Too often I picked up the phone during the past year, actually no different from previous years, and I'm sad to say that, to hear of a journalist who had been targeted due to his or her work. People who chose to follow their calling over their personal safety and pay dearly as a result. I ask you to pay tribute and commemorate some of the strongest characters who were killed in the line of duty. Victor Manuel Baez Chino and Regina Martinez died in Mexico. Eric Martinez Avila died in Honduras. Ahmed Adaw Anshour, Hassan Osman Abdi died in Somalia. Marie Colbin died in Syria. So before we move on to our program and discuss the more specialist aspects of our work, let's ask ourselves, what drives people to work in this field in the first place? This is how I see it. Freedom. I can think of no better word that expresses every human's fundamental life-giving desire. The urge to be free is universal. On the streets of Syria today, people have been clamoring for freedom for more than a year. And their urge to be free is so strong that they continue to take to the streets, even if this puts their own lives at risk. Ignoring their fear with guns against their heads, the people of Syria take tremendous risks to keep each other and the outside world informed of what is going on in that country, to find answers to questions like, where is the fighting going on? Where can we run to? Where is it safe? How do we get out of this situation? People need freedom wherever they live. To lead their lives in the way they want to make informed decisions, to develop, to be able to write what needs to be written and say what needs to be said. And our community is all about solidarity, assistance, and creativity to develop people's capacity just to do that. One of the things that comes with my job is talking to students. One of the first questions they tend to ask me is what keeps me going, seeing so much horrid repression and hardship around us. I usually tell them about a gifted man I once trained in Sudan who was abducted, imprisoned, and tortured because of his work. I'm showing you some pictures of Sudan. After this man was released, following huge efforts by lawyers, activists, and many, many others, he told me, no, I won't stop. This made me stronger, more convinced, and more motivated to keep up my work. His commitment was not a job or a career path or an attachment to a media development organization. He was committed to the Darfuri themselves. Local journalists put themselves in danger, even risked their lives to provide their countrymen and the outside world with independent information about the region. Without these people on the ground, we wouldn't have any information coming from a place like Darfur. That is why our work is rewarding. Whatever you do in the coming days, in the workshops, and no matter how specialist the discussion can become, I beg you to always keep in mind, this conference is not just about us or about media development. It's about journalists and media professionals worldwide that have the drive and the guts to provide their people with the news and information that the public needs. It needs it so badly. I'm showing you a picture of some of the intricacies of how complicated we can make development. And I'm sure during many of the discussions that will ensue during the next days, we will talk into very gritty, deep detail. But I urge you to keep in mind who we're doing it for. Let's offer them a helping hand. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leon Willems, for those inspiring words. I would now like to